Hello everyone, this is ponderonweather coming at you with another update. In this update, we're talking about a major winter storm with severe weather as we're going to be watching a cutoff low move in from the west and shift east throughout the week. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. All right, so let's get started. Let's start off with the latest watches and warnings as of this morning, Tuesday, March the 9th. And we've got winter weather advisories in parts of Montana as well as Idaho and also into Wyoming and to Nebraska and as well as South Dakota and even northern portions of California. We got winter storm warnings in parts of the Sierra Mountains of California. But we also have some high wind watches that we're going to have to be concerned about, with some very gusty winds in parts of Oklahoma into Kansas, as well as parts of Arizona here, and even some freeze warnings out here into Georgia, as well as South Carolina. So let me kind of walk you through kind of where we've been so far for the month of March. Here are the temperature anomalies. This is basically the average mean between the high and the low temperatures. You can actually see in the northeast, we've actually been seeing below average temperatures anywhere from Pennsylvania all the way through Maine. And down here to the south, it's just about normal, just in a little bit below average. But all your hot weather has been well to the north, and they've actually experienced some record high temperatures in parts of the Dakotas, where they've experienced in those 15 and 18 degrees above average temperatures for up there to start off March. So let me kind of take you through the next week. Here's the upper 500 millibar pattern on the European model. This is what it looks like up above. You can actually see what's going on. We've got a trough that's going to be digging in off the west coast. That's actually going to bring some much needed rain, not just for Northern California, but that's actually going to extend into Southern California as well. And out ahead of it, we got some very warm air we're going to be working with for at least the middle of the part of the week, as we kind of walk you through the next couple days. And by Friday, that trough will start to get its act together and start digging down here in the Four Corners region. You can definitely see out ahead of it, we still have that warm surge of Gulf temperatures. And then that jet stream lifts well to the north by Friday. But as we get into the weekend and definitely into Monday, the 15th, that cutoff low will set up shop over the Four Corners region, and that'll be into the central part of the U.S. That'll be dumping some heavier snows by then and bringing a much colder temperatures by then for the central U.S. And then we also see a developing trough out here in the west that's going to be extending those colder temperatures. And that jet stream dips for the northeast again, bringing those colder temperatures for the northeast. So let me kind of walk you through the latest surface maps. This is a Tuesday morning, March the 9th. You can definitely see that developing trough moving in from the west coast. That's going to bring some more rain for you guys and off the coast of like Seattle into Portland. That'll extend to San Francisco, and that'll actually kind of extend down into eventually Los Angeles and eventually getting into San Diego with some more snow for you guys, where they'll have those winter weather advisories in parts of Idaho into Montana. And you can definitely see where these kind of the orange bandings are. That's your warmer temperatures at ahead of it. But as we get into Wednesday morning, that system out here in the trough gets a little bit stronger. That'll traverse the rain down a little bit further south along the coast. That's where we're going to start to see some of those rains extending into Los Angeles and getting into San Diego. That's where we're going to have those winter storm warnings in parts of the Sierra Mountains in California, where we're going to see some of those heavier snows. And that snow band will start to increase into Wyoming, say Casper, Wyoming. We'll start picking up some heavier snow snows by then, and that only will extend into parts of Nebraska and get it into parts of the South Dakota regions as well. So as we walk you through into the overnight on Wednesday, that developing trough just gets, like I said, just a little bit stronger. Now we're seeing that snow line shift a little bit further south into Nevada, getting into parts of Utah, as well as Arizona here, and that first band will still swinging off into South Dakota. In South Dakota here, and actually swinging into parts of Minnesota as we have those warmer temperatures down to the south, really taking shape and staying put. But as we extend into Thursday, that trough will dig a little bit further south. You can see these orange bandings. That's where your warmer temperatures are for the south, southeast, northeast. These are all kind of, above average temperatures. And where you see the blue bandings is in the Pacific Northwest, the north central U.S. That's typically your below average temperatures. And so out ahead of it, where that cold core trough cutoff low is, that's where we're going to be seeing some of the snow really start to pick up in places like Salt Lake City, Utah, getting into the mountains of California. By then, we're talking Thursday, and that will only extend into Friday. But as Thursday, we're going to have to be dealing with some severe weather. So as that clash in temperatures are really going to start to mix, that's where we're going to see a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms for parts of Midland, getting into Lubbock, as well as parts of Oklahoma, as Tulsa, even to Springfield, Missouri. Just a marginal risk, so not terribly too bad. But there are going to be some stronger storms going to be mixing in as that colder air starts to shift and it starts to mix in with some of that warmer air. And by Friday, you can definitely see that developing trough gets a little bit closer. That'll extend the snow from the mountains, possibly now, into portions of Denver, as we'll start to see some snow fly into Denver. And you can definitely see out ahead of it, we got those warmer temperatures. And I do think it's going to be setting the stage that we're going to be seeing some heavier rainfall and some severe weather. And this is where, it starts to really get active by the time Friday, especially into the weekend, rolls around. Because by Saturday, that developing cold core, you can definitely see where it's at right here in the Four Corners region and Colorado. It's really going to start to take shape and really start to be digging and intensifying. And it's a slow mover. This is definitely looks like a slow mover. So we could be picking up some very, very heavy snows by then into Colorado, getting into Denver. We could be seeing, 1, 2 inch snowfall rates easily from this system as it really starts to get its act together. And down to the south, into the portions of the Texas Panhandle, into Oklahoma, we're going to be talking severe weather and some heavy rain potential as this banding moves across into Arkansas, Missouri, getting into parts of, Tennessee as well, and then pretty dry for you guys in the southeast. But by Saturday, as that cold core really starts to get closer and that warm air clash, that temperature gradient gets really elevated. We could be seeing some of the, a higher risk of severe weather and all the way extending down into Abilene, getting into portions of Waco, definitely in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Wichita Falls, much of Oklahoma is going to be seeing this, and even parts of Kansas. So you're going to see a major snow event in Colorado, and then just severe weather out ahead of it as that cold core slowly pushes further to the east. And you can see what we're working with by Saturday morning. That colder air definitely into the northwest, along the north, those teens and 20s for parts of the northwest, into the Dakotas, parts of the Ohio Valley, getting into Pennsylvania and New York and to much of the Northeast with widespread 20s. And out to the south of that, higher dew points. Southwest wind, Gulf moisture. These are low temperatures, 65 degrees. So there's plenty of dynamics, plenty of fuel to fuel these storms down to the south as we get that clash in temperatures extending further to the south. And so by definitely later in the day on Saturday, it really starts to intensify. Like I mentioned, that bandies really starts to come across, and we could be developing more of an east wind by then. And that's going to be bringing definitely some heavier snows into Colorado, and that'll extend into portions of Nebraska, getting into portions of Kansas, and yes, out ahead of it, heavier rains and severe weather. So it definitely depends on where you live. If you're either going to get severe weather or just snow with the temperature gradient of about 30 to 40 degrees difference. Just within, like I said, several hundred miles of this cold core, as this shifts, and it slowly shifts to the east as we get into later on the weekend, because overnight into Saturday, getting into Sunday morning by the March the 14th, you can definitely see we could be having a band that like a line of thunderstorms that's going to be extending across, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center has already highlighted a risk of severe weather down into much portions of Texas, getting into Oklahoma. And that heavier snows will be, dumping some, probably almost feet of snow. This could be a big event for you guys in Denver coming up. And then this will extend into, Nebraska, getting into, parts of the Dakotas eventually, as this really starts to get its act together, by Sunday. And yes, extending into Sunday morning, that low pressure just kind of hangs around and just dumps heavier snow over an extended period of time. So it looks like it's going to be a fairly, long duration event of probably Friday, Saturday, definitely into the weekend for, Denver into parts of Nebraska. We could be picking up some, definitely double-digit snowfall totals, if not feet snowfall totals in some of these locations. And down to the south, we've got those heavier rains and severe weather we're going to have to be dealing with by Sunday, because as that cold core continues to shift, now we're setting the stage for that severe threat to shift probably east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, shifting into Lufkin, parts of Shreveport, get into Little Rock, Arkansas, Springfield, Missouri, and just, eastern parts of Oklahoma, as that sharp gradient on temperatures you can definitely see. Low of 65, but 37 degrees in Amarillo, as those colder temperatures continue to push further east, and where that jet stream dips by Sunday into parts of the Northeast. That's where you're going to be seeing some of those colder temperatures start to creep back into parts of the Ohio Valley, into as well as the Northeast as well. So but as we get it deeper into the day, into the overnight on Sunday, going into Sunday morning, that heavier snows will be still inundated over Colorado. That will extend into Nebraska by then. That'll get into portions of South Dakota, so with some more heavier snows, and that'll eventually extend into Minnesota as well, as that colder, right underneath that cold core. That's going to be some of your coldest temperatures, and out ahead of it, that's where that warm surge, as that severe threat would continue to shift a little bit further east by then. But you can definitely see back behind it of the cool down, where we've been kind of talking about the Climate Prediction Center, the latest 6 to 10 day outlook has those below average anomalies extended pretty much over the cold central U.S. and much of the U.S. is below average by then, by the time middle of the month rolls around. And their latest 8 to 14 day outlook would just extend the cold a little bit further to the east, as well as into the southeast, and get into portions up to the northeast by then. So definitely some much colder air, overall, by the time we get into the second, mid March. But before that, we're gonna have to be dealing with a lot of extreme type temperatures, as well as severe weather, and as well as possibly some flooding. Because here's your rain amounts. I mean, here's your graph down below, of anywhere from 2 to 4, almost upwards of 5 inch rainfall rate, rain amounts over the next, just between now and this is Monday morning. So we're only talking the next 6 days. So yeah, some of this in Colorado, this was going to be cold enough to be all snow. So when you're talking, 2-inch plus of liquid precipitation, imagine how much snow that could possibly be. Yeah, we're talking possibly, double digits easily, if not almost feet of snow in some of these locations into Colorado and getting into portions of Nebraska. But out ahead of it, this is going to be all rain for you guys in most of Kansas, into Oklahoma, getting into Texas. So we could be picking up some flooding rains into getting into Missouri, Arkansas, right here in the midsection of the country. You can see it's definitely high and dry for you guys in the southeast and along the northeast. But like I said, that colder push will start to shift a little bit further southeast, getting into the northeast as we go, to the second half of March. But before that, yeah, we're gonna have to be dealing with some heavier rains that we're going to be moving through parts of the West Coast. So with much needed rains too, and much of, not just Northern California, but Southern California as well. So these are welcome rains for those places, down there. And here's your wind. I mean, so out ahead of it, yeah, with that severe threat, and mainly we're going to have to be concerned about, they have those high wind watches even today, but all week long, we're going to have to be dealing with some of these higher winds. And where you're seeing some of these orange shaded areas, that's your 50 to 55 plus gust at times through these areas. And these red shaded areas could even be upwards of 60 plus mile per hour winds. So definitely be on the lookout if you travel a lot, especially the over the road truck drivers. So definitely be on the lookout as you get into the central part of the U.S. as some of these higher wind gusts could pop up, especially later on the day, and as we get into some more of that severe threat Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday as well. And so here's your latest snowfall map, and you can definitely see where the bullseye is, where that cold cutoff core low. So we could be picking up some, easily double-digit totals in Colorado, if not almost feet at times, and that'll extend into portions of Nebraska, get into South Dakota. So some of these places could be picking up a lot of snow, and it could extend into portions of the Texas Panhandle as well, and then a very narrow banding. This is between, now and Monday the 15th, so just the next 6 days. So this narrow banding, through the Dakotas as well as Minnesota, and then here's your heavier snows along the Sierra Mountains, into Nevada, and I do feel places like, Flagstaff, Arizona, Salt Lake City, all these places in Utah could be picking up some heavier snows, and that'll extend into, say, Santa Fe, New Mexico as well. And so as we take a look at the latest GFS model, kind of implies the same thing. So your bullseye is going to be right around, right around this upper cold low. We're going to be dumping some, double-digit snowfall totals, and that will just extend into places like Minnesota. But like I mentioned, after we get past the 15th, as that cold core cutoff low will slowly shift east, those colder temperatures will slowly shift east, the second half of March. So, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.